Hi.
everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are so excited that you are here and you are here watching because we have some really good things in store for you about having interactive lessons, interactive Google Slides, and how to organize all of that. So we're here with Lauren today. I'm so excited to have connected with her and learn from her today. So, Lauren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Lauren Bonifant. You'll find me on Instagram and all the other social media places as freelance mom Lauren. And I guess my background, I was a teacher myself, like Natalie,
Mhm.
for about 10 to 12 years. I've taught like general elementary, I've taught middle school math and English. I've taught, and more recently I taught computer and technology skills at a K-8 school. So I did that for like 5 years. A couple of years ago I left the classroom to be a stay-at-home mom because, mom life is just hard, and sometimes you just you need to focus on that and not try to trying to juggle it all. So I did that,
Mhm.
but I wanted to keep I wanted to keep working, earn income for my family. So, kind of along the way as I was, becoming a mom and figuring out what was going to work for me, I came across OutSchool. I've taught classes on OutSchool. I've taught the, kind of technology, computer skills classes like I taught in the classroom, mostly on OutSchool. Things like typing technique, coding, um, Google Slides, more on the, not so much on like the, using them interactively in a lesson, more on the, how do you use the Google Slides program for like a 7 to 12-year-old child,
Mm. Yep.
thing. So I've taught students about Canva and different things like that. I don't teach on OutSchool as much as I used to now. I've kind of pivoted toward um doing more of like virtual assistant and type of work. So I have a couple clients that I work with on different things, some general admin. I do video editing. I've also created custom templates for clients in the Notion program, which is one of the things we're going to talk about today. And I've
Mhm.
gotten really into working with Notion, and I'm trying to take my business in a direction with working with Notion more often now, and trying to coach people on productivity and organization using that as like the vehicle for that. So that's where I am right now. And as I said, I'm a mom. I have one child right now. I have a 3.5-year-old who is starting preschool next week. So that's where,
Nice.
I'm gearing up to have my child do the back to school thing for the first time. So that's
Oh, it's fun. It's
yeah.
really fun. But then it's like, wait, they're gone. What do I do? But it's
Yeah.
fun. Back to school.
Go grocery shopping by myself, maybe.
I know what? It's the best thing ever. I feel like you forget some of that things. Like I have 3 kids, so bringing them all together is like I try to avoid it because it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But even half of them are just, okay, I can do this. But 3 is kind of crazy at the store.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
fun. We make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, I love your range of skills. That's so cool. You've taught like a
Thanks.
lot. That's so cool. So your knowledge is just a gold mine. I love it. And I can't wait to
Oh,
jump
thanks.
into your Notion.
Thanks.
It's so cool. Okay, so um kind of so talking about interactivity, it's kind of cool that you said Google Slides. So I have a class that I've taught on OutSchool kind of here and there, the same as you. Like this is how we use Google Slides because you're going to
Mhm.
be using it in school to create presentations and
Yeah.
stuff. Um, so do you want to jump into that, the slides, and then kind of show how, because we talk about interactivity and but like what does that mean? What does that mean to have a lesson like interactive? What does that mean? Or what an example
Like
of
for me,
maybe what?
like
Yeah.
from my perspective, I
Uh-huh.
guess to me it means where the, you know, yes, as teachers, we can use Google Slides ourselves to present things, or, we can even, have students play a game, but we're controlling the screen. When it becomes more interactive, I feel like that's where the students are the ones who have control of the Google Slides, or, whatever program it happens to be. They're the ones moving things around in the screen. They're creating with it. So, and, that's whether that's, it's like you made like a little game board, but they have to control their own screen, and you've done a lot of the work for them. Or if it's like, or if you're giving them a mostly blank canvas and they have to kind of put everything into it, if it's more of like a, learn how to make a slideshow or do some sort of writing task kind of a thing. That's kind of what I mean by interactive, is that the students are going to be working with the technology. At least that's what it means to me. But the problem that comes with that, and, this is what Natalie, we talked about kind of leading up to this, is like, when you're doing that, when the like handout or the activity you're giving the students is technology based, when it's not paper, you have the trick, especially in the virtual classroom, you have the tricky thing of like, I can't see what they're doing. I don't know what, I hope they understand what's going on. I hope they're not messing around with it. How to monitor what they're doing. So, and at least for me, what kind of the system I've developed with that kind of a thing is I would basically control the slideshows that the Google Slides files that they were working on. So like if I was teaching a class with students and we were going to work with Google Slides and I was having them create a slideshow, even if I was starting from blank, I would never tell them, oh, just open Google Slides and create your own. I would always make the blank file for them, and I would share the link with them, sometimes in the Zoom chat, sometimes in the school classroom, or, whatever platform you're using through, I would send it to them in some way. And they would open up something that I owned. So it's like, I was basically sharing it. I made it, I shared it with them. And then I always teach with a second screen. And on my second screen, I have, tabs open for every single student with their files, and I can just click between them and, be like, oh, and you can see, when they've opened it, because there's that little green circle there, or whatever colored circle. And so I can be like, okay, they're on it. I can watch what they're doing. I've put their, I've pre-titled it with their name, so I know who's working on what. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I basically, it does mean a little more prep work ahead of time, that since I had to like duplicate over and over again and make all those files. And so it's like, if you use Google Classroom in a regular classroom, Google Classroom does that for you automatically. It's kind of where I got the idea. But for something like OutSchool, you can't do that as much. You kind of have to, duplicate it manually from like a template. But that's how I would follow along with what they were doing. And that way I could be like, hey, so-and-so, I said to put the thing in the center. Yours is way over in the corner, and they're like, oh, okay, they move it. And it's, and that way also, if they really get lost and confused, I can kind of take over and control it too. And I can, fix it. So, super useful that way.
Yep, it is. I absolutely love it. So let's dive into a Google lesson. I'll share it with you. So this will be like just how we would do it in the classroom. So I'm going to, let's see, I'll copy the link and then I'll have to share my screen. So in the chat box, I know you can't see this because I can't share my Zoom screen. There we go. Okay, so I copied a link and I put it in the chat box.
Giving me the access denied.
Let's see. Anyone with the link. Anyone with the link.
Yeah, you do. Anyone with the link can edit. Yes,
yep.
That's, I guess. So, additional note, when you're giving these links to your students, through online, you have to make sure that you go into the settings for the link and you set it to, like, instead of saying restricted, you got to put anyone on the internet with the link can edit. And that's how, so that way when they open it, it's going to be what it's supposed to be.
Yes. Perfect. Okay. So just what Lauren was saying, I'll walk you through just exactly what she said. Up here at share, and then anyone with the link, and then I have to toggle that to editor. And then copy link, and then that is the last link I gave you, Lauren, for students to edit it. And I can see that she is already up because I have these pictures. You'll see a picture for every single student that pops in. And like Lauren said, they are anonymous, no student names. So I have what I like to do. So this is a Google slide lesson that I have. So I'm teaching students just the basic functions of Google Slides. And then they are practicing in my lesson, all on the same slides. And because they're not making, for this class, they're not making like their own presentation that then they can take home or show their parents. They're just all working together. So I'll go to this next slide. I have like taught how to do alignment, bullets, numbers, and then I'll just direct everyone to go to slide 6. And then I can see who is on slide 6. I can see that the unicorn's on slide 6. So if I have, 3 students in my class, then I can see, oh, I have 3 people on this slide. They're all right there. Okay, and now Lauren can totally edit this text. She can align it, put a bullet in it, and we can see exactly what she's doing and where, which is just so cool. I love having the eyes.
Yeah.
I love having the eyes on it.
Where's the iPad?
Just to be able to see what my students are doing. It's so cool. Okay, and then say we won't go too far into this, but if we go to slide 7, adding images, and then I would show how to do that. And then everyone go to slide 8 and add an image, the image button, search the web, and then they would just type, add their own image in there. So the very basics, but we can see exactly what students are doing. So you can see how powerful this can be, especially when Lauren's using it when they're creating their own slideshow now, taking it, step higher, these skills, how cool this could be. Oh, I love the picture.
And if I put a picture on there, it'll highlight, and each student would be in a different color. So like you would, okay, that color is this one is this one. And
and I don't tell, just a little tip, I don't say to students, I don't know whose is who, but I just ask questions like, oh, I love the tree, like who put the tree up there? And then they'll tell you. Then I know, okay, Lauren's pink. So I know that's her. So when I just kind of take note, and then as she's working along, then I can say, oh, Lauren, I really like how you did this or whatnot. Just kind of keep track that way. Or if you don't have to, then don't worry about it. Okay, interactive slides. There's so much potential when you can share slides with students. Any platform, like you said, Lauren, when you share with students, I feel like the limits are really great. Like possibilities are just endless on what you can let students collaborate on. They can collaborate together, write together, solve math problems together. You can really get that collaboration piece because students can also see what everyone else is doing as well. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so interactive slides are so fun to create, so fun to teach, but what about organizing them? Is that just as fun?
Well, if it's like what you were doing, where it's like the whole class is working on one file, maybe not so much, because it's like, okay, here's, here's the one file for the class. I mean, if you have multiple sections of the class, groups of the class, you probably need a different one for each group of students. So that can be a lot, but it really gets to be a lot when I was describing what I was doing, where it's like each student had a different file unique to them.
Yes.
So that's, you can end up with like a lot of duplicates of the files, and you can what I used to do, you can just, work out of your Google Drive, and you just have this big long list, and then but often you have to end up with like a gazillion folders with like, and you're constantly being like, okay, which folder's here, which folder's there, and you're trying to organize it in there. Not terrible. And if you're like me and you don't mind having everything inside of folders, then not too bad. But after a while, as I discovered the Notion program, I started using Notion as a way to organize my Google files. So actually I hardly ever work around in Google Drive anymore, because it's
Wow.
at least recently I tend to, like, anytime there's some Google file that I got to put my hands on a lot, I like link it to Notion with wherever, along with whatever tasks information in Notion it goes with, and then I just open it when I need it. But
That's cool.
But here, this is just my idea. If you want to learn how to use the Notion program for organizing your lesson plans, Google things. Let's see. Hang on, let me pull that into its own window. You want me to share my screen now, or do you want?
Yes, and you should be able to. Yep.
Okay. All right. Let me put this onto the over here so that my camera eye line is good. There we go. Okay. So this here for this right here is it's a template that I designed in Notion, and it's a freebie that will be available in Natalie's description that you can get. And
absolutely,
I created this earlier in the summer at the request of a different teaching YouTuber.
Lauren's just so popular because this is so cool.
Yeah, it's ended up being useful here too, but I'm making ones on other topics as well. Anyway, so what you have here on Notion is that there's basically one database, but it's in two different views. You can either look at it as like a calendar, so when you're planning your lessons, for whatever type of class you're teaching, however you want to organize that, you would create your lessons, based on, okay, I'm teaching this on Monday, September 18th, this on Tuesday, September 19th. You base it off of the days and the dates. And so you would, click that, and it's set up. So this Notion database, the cards are set up to have these fields for you. You can title your lesson here. You can add the, whatever little icon you want, and you can fill out date. This check box kind of just clears it from the screen when you're done teaching it. You can put in files, standards. This is if, that's something applicable. Status, you can, set up a subject depending on however you want to organize that, if there's links you need and stuff like that. And I have this where it says, if you click this and it goes to this template for the page, it gives you some prompts at the bottom for like parts of your lesson, if you choose to use that. So, but this is a great way to organize Google Slides files, because you're going to have the little card for your lesson plan down at the bottom. You can add as much stuff to the bottom of this as you want, and you can put, a list of Google Slides files that you might need for that class for those students. I mean, you could put them up. You could put them up here too, like under URL. They could go there too. But either way, however you want to organize that. Yeah, Notion lets you do things like, I used to do this before. So when you want to create a new like section of something in Notion, you press, you kind of click an empty space and you press the backslash, and it brings up a menu.
Okay.
A lot of times with the Google Slides files, if I had like multiple ones that would go with the same class, or like more than one section and they each need their own file, but I'm just like kind of copying and pasting the lesson, I would just make a little simple table and like, put, like Monday, if like this is for Monday's section, this is for Tuesday, I would label it, and then I would put the, the Google Slides link here. I'll use yours over here really on my other screen here. you just
So
put
this
the,
is so for like a week-long class, then you can even organize it again for,
yeah,
oh,
you,
that's so
you,
cool.
yeah, you just, paste it there. Um, and then, when you, then you can just pull up this one card and it's got like everything you need to know about what you're doing in class, everything you need to know for yourself. And it's got the links there. So when you're ready for the link, you click it and then, put it wherever it is on the screen that you need it to be. Um,
Ah,
and it, depending on what you're teaching and your personal organization style, you can organize this however you want. If you just want to kind of make a free form bullet list with these, or if you want to put it in a table, it's entirely up to you. So um
mm-hmm.
I'm big on with people with organizing. I'm like, you have to figure out what works for you, what's gonna be, I can give you suggestions, but like what's gonna make your brain happy? Like what do you when you look at
Uh-huh.
it, you want it nice and boxed in, or do you want it in a vertical line? Everyone's different with what they like. So
I agree. But this is, so I have an ongoing class, and where I have a lot of links from like Google Slides and Canva, because they're all games I'm playing, different one every week. So this would be helpful. So instead of
what
like,
what you might do in that case, like here, I'm gonna go to it. Okay. Uh like if you have your ongoing class and like if it's you might create um actually let me go back. Okay, so like you might create a lesson for like one session of the ongoing class, fill it out like when you're first teaching that class.
mhm,
I call this like ongoing class week 1 or something like that. And if it's going to happen again the next week, you would just make a copy of that same page, like, and you can right click, duplicate, open it up, change the date, and then on the calendar, go to the next week. So now it's in the next week. You change this one to week 2 or whatever, or if you want to, whatever your topic is, whatever you want to
uh-huh,
call it, you decide what the title is that will be best for you.
yes,
So and when you do that, you duplicated what you just did. So there's certain things that are be the same from week to week, right? Certain pieces of
uh-huh,
information don't change. So it'll keep the things that don't need to change, and then you can just go find the things that do and delete the old and re-enter the new. And so if you want, you can start building a list of links to games. If there's games you're like, okay, I want to just hold on to this and keep this like ongoing list, it'll just keep accumulating every time you copy it. And then, or if you're like,
oh,
or if you're switching it out, you can, delete something and replace it with something else every time you copy the card. Um,
okay,
or you can move that card from, it's entirely up to you. You can just move that card from one week to the next and just keep the same card. Um, it's up to you if you want to make a new card every week or if you want to just keep moving it.
just move it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I can see for, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. If it's in month view, um, let's see. Yeah. If like maybe you don't want to keep making copies of it, I'm going to right click and delete. Maybe you're just like, okay, I'm done with it on that day. And then you just move it to the next Monday, open it up and make the changes you need to make. If you prefer to do it that way. So
That's so cool because that would definitely help with keeping, because I have so many links. That's cool.
yeah. Oh, and here's what helps with link and list control. So
Mhm.
this is one thing I love in Notion, the toggle system. So one of the things you can, like, when you enter little when you it's like this is I love this because it keeps me from getting too overwhelmed when I look at the pages. When you do the backslash and one of the options is something called a toggle list. Um, you just call it whatever you want, and then you can drag things and put it under the toggle. So then it's hidden when you don't want to see it, and then it's there when you do want to see it. So that's
That's
super helpful. So
cool.
you were saying you have tons and tons of links, but sometimes you don't
Hmm.
need or want to, you want to keep them, but you don't want to look at them all the time. So sometimes you can just like, okay, I see it, I got it. All right, hide it now.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I can see how that would be overwhelming. It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah. It used to be my problem when I would just save like I would have like a Google Doc with like a chart on it, and I would just save the students' links, but I have to scroll pages and try to find where they were. And then when I discovered Notion, I'm like, oh, I can hide it in toggles. Now I don't have to stare at it if it's not what I'm doing that day.
Exactly. And then you oh, like get distracted. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Waste all that time scrolling, searching. Is this the right one?
Hmm.
You
Yep,
know.
for sure. And that's one thing I've because I am like really trying to work on organizing because it's like I am searching Google Drive for the thing I make because I either created it and then didn't save it in the folder that I needed it to be in. So I just am always like just searching. So I really love how I can just, especially for this ongoing class that I have, that's just link after link. So I can go and just pull up the link I need. I know it's going to be right there.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's a, if you want to keep all the links together, but you want to like, you want to keep them all together as you add more and more, but you still want it relatively organized, you can put the dates in, and and stuff like that. However you want to do that. There are other like functions in Notion you could use for this kind of a thing. If I put a table, but you can do a um like a checkbox list if that's what is better for the situation, a bullet list, a number list. You can put toggles inside of toggles. You can make, where to go, like a whole separate database if you really want to get fancy. Um, Whatever is gonna be best for you in terms of your
Mhm.
abilities and your what you need to see and how, and whatever works for you at that moment. So
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And so with the freebie, you have like I see you have headings and stuff that is already all included
yeah,
when someone downloads this, right?
right. So when someone you know fills out the form to get the freebie delivered to their email, and they so you'll get a link, and you'll to a PDF download, and then you click another link and you can copy it into your Notion account. And if you've never used Notion, there's a little bit of information on the PDF of like where to go to create an account.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's free, right? Or a free version?
there is a free version. There is like a upper level paid version. I do have the paid version, but the main feature that I like in the paid version is you can upload as many files to it as you want. The free version like gives you a limit of how many of like uh how much like many megabytes or whatever of space of
Okay. Yep.
files you're allowed to upload, like PDFs or whatever. I got the paid version because I use it so much. I'm like, sometimes I just want to be able to throw a PDF in there and not have to worry about how much space I'm using and stuff. So it's worth it for me, and it's only like, I don't know, $50 a year, something like that.
Oh,
It's actually very affordable.
yeah.
So anyway, but so that's I think it's worthwhile. But if you're just starting out, yes, you can do tons and tons with it for free. And everything on this date, you don't need the paid version for this lesson plan template. You can none of this requires uploading files. And it comes with in some instructions on how to work each part of the
Oh, awesome.
database, kind of how I set it up. So if you're not familiar with Notion, you can learn a little bit. These what I hit the all of these here, I based these off of my lessons I taught when I was a computer teacher, just because I just wanted people to be able to see like how a person might put lessons into it, how it might look. So that
Hmm.
you can
And
delete all these out when you're using it for yourself. These are just examples of how different types of lessons might look in this. Um, there's also this board view down here if you want to look at things more in terms of what lessons have I not start, do I have to do, but I haven't started, planning them out
Like,
yet.
okay, planning.
Yeah, so this is kind of more of like, this is more of like, here's my scheduled of what I'm teaching. This view down here, and these are connected. This is more like, okay, I know I have to teach fourth grade computers this week, but I haven't written up their lesson yet. So that's why it's
Okay.
not started. And then you can drag it to in progress if you get halfway through and stop in the middle, ready for class when it's all done and ready. If you want to use that. And this is just information about me and my work down there if you're interested. Yeah, so that's what's all in the freebie, and that you can get. And if you are interested in learning more about Notion and kind of getting more comfortable with it, and you just feel like you need a little bit of help, you just want someone to kind of coach you through getting started, I do offer kind of custom Notion coaching calls. So if someone's interested and they get this freebie and they want to just get some help, they can scroll down to the bottom, they can check out my website, there's a contact form they can fill out, just reach out to me through email and I'll respond and get it set up. So you can get and it'll explain, I offer 30-minute sessions or 60-minute sessions. And if you end up needing more extensive help from there, I just work with each person as they need it. So yeah, anyway, so if you get this and you just feel like you want someone to help you out, or if you're like, hey, Notion's really cool, I want to start using it more in other parts of my life, but I just need a little kickstart, I'm here to help you.
Yes, for sure. This is so cool how my favorite part is just how it is all in one spot. And it's
Yeah.
like I get a whole week view of this is what I'm teaching, and then all my materials are right there. That is my favorite. So
Yeah, it's
for
awesome.
sure, I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
Would you recommend so as I like teach a lesson, just kind of create it as I go and then kind of just build up
Yeah,
that
like
way?
kind of, yeah. If you get this template and you want to start doing your lesson planning in this, like, get the template, make your copy, pick a week where you're like, okay, maybe I was doing my lessons in this other method, but now I'm going to try this. Like, pick a week, open up one of those cards, fill it out, copy and paste from whatever your other system is if you need to, and then yeah, just kind of slowly build it up over time. Don't once you get really comfortable with Notion, sometimes you can go and just put a whole bunch of data into it at once. But yeah, if you're getting started, just do take the next step. Do what you need, try using it for something you need organized or planned out that day, that week, and then do a little more the next day. Just let it build. So that's my best advice.
Yeah. Don't overwhelm yourself. But this is so cool. I'm loving this. And like
Glad you like it.
the organizing is just the part I think everyone can do. Well, at least me. Just do a little bit better. So we're not scrambling. Where do I find this? Gotta search in the drive. Okay, pull up my screen. It's so cool. So cool.
Trust me, I've been there. I'm still there I'm still there sometimes.
But you figured it out a way that works for you. Just like you were saying,
Yeah.
you got to find out what works for you. So I'm all for trying. Needs to be a little better, so I'm going to try in Notion and see if that helps me.
Awesome.
Well, thanks so much, Lauren, for showing us that's such a cool thing. And I love how we just went over a whole bunch of what makes lessons interactive and how we can really boost that in our classes. So we can get our students coming back, them interactive and deciding I'm excited to be there and come back. And then on the flip side, we need to be just as excited as they are. So anything to help us just be a little more organized and not frazzled when it's I need to find this for a second. So we're so excited to use anything that helps us
Anything you
be.
can do anything you can do with technology to make it so you're not like sitting there in class being like, I can't find this. I don't, what's going on? You know, the more you can put right at your fingertips, the better. At least that's what I've learned.
For sure. I totally agree. We want to work smarter, not harder. And technology can totally help us work smarter. We just have to figure out that this is how I need it to work for me.
Yes.
So I love it. Awesome. So if you have any questions for Lauren about anything organizing, be sure to send send your questions her way. That freebie link is down below, so go ahead and grab it. I know I will be diving into this because I feel like it will be really helpful, especially if you're using a lot of technology, all those links in one spot. So I'm excited to try it out.
Awesome. Yeah. Let me know how it goes when you do try it. And, you know,
For sure, I will. It was awesome. See, I'm already like, okay, I got this. I'm so
I know.
excited to work smarter.
You're like me, you get excited when you have some cool new, technology organizational tool. You're like, oh, this is going to make things so much easier.
Yep, for sure. For sure. Anything helps.
All right.
Okay, thanks for being here. Thanks for meeting with me and showing us your cool superpower and how we can just make like the lessons interactive as well as on the business side, teacher side, how we can do that.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks, Lauren. I'll
You're
see you
welcome.
later.
Glad I could help. Bye, Natalie.
Thank you. Bye.